Good morning. My name is Ryan Gould and I'm here today to present to you my idea to create a new music magazine based around the North London area. I do not live in North London, but by going to school here every day, I found out that the different types of music people like to listen to and that there's an up-and-coming vibrancy in this area that people should know about. This is why I've decided to create a grime music magazine. My magazine is called NL Vibes, as it stands for North London Vibes and connotes where the magazine is based around, whilst having a fresh name that would appeal to the consumers. Featured content. The magazine that I'm going to create will feature an interview from an up-and-coming grime artist from the North London area. It will also feature rankings of the grime songs and artists and present the best venue in the North London area. It will also cite reviews of the most recent performances, songs and albums made by artists such as Stormzy, Skepta and JME. Finally, each monthly edition will let people know when there are concerts and dates of albums or song releases from the very best grime artists. Magazine format, house style. My magazine will be based online to target the younger demographic and will be edited frequently so it stays up to date with current events, as well as printed monthly that will be placed on shelves in corner shops near schools and free editions in libraries in schools, so it's available and accessible to be sold to interested audiences for a price of £2.99. The magazine will have a colour scheme of red, white, black, grey and brown that will feature on every page, so it's keeping up to date with the house style of the magazine. Similar products available and placed in the market. There are very few similar products available in the market today, as my magazine features a niche music genre made up of all the latest news on the grime scene, as well as being based upon one location so it distinguishes itself in the market. Time Out magazine is one of my competitors because it is a magazine that may not be of the same genre, but it focuses on one area in London like mine does, so I will be entering a market where there are existing magazines of similar type. Time Out magazine is a free magazine that is handed out weekly at tube stations and is available at over 500 stores across London. Target audience. The primary target audience for this magazine is 15 to 30-year-old men and women. I want to target the younger generation of audiences as well to find out music they prefer and what influences their choice of music, and if they go to see their favourite artists in their local area. The demographic are in the C2DE job status category because grime music is primarily preferred by the younger generations who will be at school or would have just left school in the last 5 years and wouldn't have been able to acquire an illustrious job role yet. Magazine development. I will market my magazine to raise awareness of the grossing grime music industry and the up-and-coming vibrancy of the music scene in North London. I will do this through many different platforms such as social media and promotional emails. There are a few different ways I will market my product. Firstly, I will offer free issues and discounts when my potential customers subscribe online. Then I will notify them that their first issue is free and that they will receive discounts after every 3 months to keep them loyal and enticed. Another way is teasers online. I will post the first few paragraphs of an article from that month's edition with a link that will say, to read the rest of the article they must subscribe. This will give website viewers a taste of what the magazine is all about before paying for it. The final way I will market my product is by interaction through social media. Social media marketing is the best way to interact with my consumers, as I can encourage avid users of social media to subscribe to the magazine by posting samples of intriguing articles with a link to the full article. Draft material. These are drafts of my front cover and double raised spread that I created before I created my real magazine, that I envisaged my magazine to look like and be laid out. Magazine front cover and double page spread. These are the final products that I created. I created a front cover that features cover lines with article ideas and a main image that portrays an up-and-coming grime artist. My double page spread featured an article with an up-and-coming grime artist living and performing in the North London area, where there is a gross environment that people need to know about. I will distribute my magazine by uploading my magazine online each month where my consumers will need to subscribe to read, as well as distributing it in corner shops, near schools and school libraries, so it's feasible and accessible for my target audience to buy and read. The unique selling point of my magazine is that it is based around a certain genre that is specific to the North London area. Grime is already a niche genre that is progressing in an advancing music scene in North London, with many of the artists growing up and performing in their local venues. By basing my magazine around one location, it will identify itself amongst others in the market. Thank you for listening, and I am now available to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done.
No, you can tell me.
I just want you to explain a little bit more about this subscription thing. So, because I was just a bit unclear, it's mostly online,
Yeah.
which you'll update regularly, but you'll print it monthly. But when you say they subscribe, do they pay for that?
Yeah, they pay,
£2.99.
yeah,
Is that what they pay?
£2.99.
£2.99 a month.
Yeah, a month.
And they have to kind of sign up
Yeah.
for a certain amount of time, or
So they would like visit the website and read like short bits of the article,
yeah,
and then it will have the link to subscribe fully, and then it will be £2.99
a
each
month.
month. Yeah.
And then when you and the one that, the version that you print and you're putting in libraries or shops,
Yeah.
does that cost or that's available for free? Or?
The ones in libraries would be the school would pay like a certain fee,
Right.
and then the ones in corner shops would also be £3, £2.99.
£2.99.
Would you get the print version if you subscribe to the online version?
Yeah, you can get it delivered to.
Right, okay. So the idea would be that you get a full package.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And do you think, given that you've stuck with a niche genre, that you're going to have enough content? Do you feel like you've researched this and it's going to be?
Yeah, because it's an up and coming genre, so it's progressing like each month. There's more grime artists performing at different venues, so there's going to be more to talk about in recent years.
Okay, so talking about that sort of idea of the fact that it's a niche genre, right? Is it really that just specific, or is it actually breaking out of the North London arena? I mean, it's pretty popular.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more popular.
Yeah.
But it's just some of them I researched and found out that they actually grew up in North London.
Yeah.
So I just thought that if they're performing in their local venues, it's like where they grew up.
But there's no South London representation of grime.
Yeah,
I mean, is there?
I think there is.
That's the sort of
Yeah.
thing that you can sort of, you can have a look at, because
Yeah.
obviously this is for North London, and I like the idea that you are specific about the venues and the concerts and the events that are happening within the North London area, but whether it needs to sort of recognise outside that area and, around the country perhaps, would that be something that you look at? Would you be able to sort of expand your geographic viewpoint?
Yeah, so as they perform in different venues, we'd also talk about where they're going. So like, if they're performing in South London, we'd also talk about it. But yeah,
Okay, brilliant. Can I ask about the palette that you used?
the colour scheme.
Yeah. Sorry, it's true with pressing.
Alright, yeah.
Okay, so can you explain why black, red, brown, grey?
So this is, so if you actually looked at my final product, these are all the colours that I actually used on the front cover.
Yeah, sure.
So I just thought that, because grime, I just envisage it to be like more of like a dark culture, because it's like very like street and like for the younger generation. So it's like sort of like the dark colours like black, grey, brown.
Okay, do you think that might be limiting?
Yeah, it can be, because it's not very like bright, and yeah, it would look the same every edition.
So perhaps maybe we could think about adding a secondary palette. So
Yeah.
this is your primary palette, this is the brand,
Yeah,
and then add some supporting colours
Yeah.
that might lift it, and you can just kind of use the accents. Would
yeah,
that be
to show
something
that
you
we
could-
can change and
Yeah, I think that might be something that would help elevate the whole brand and give you more option. because obviously a magazine has to be colourful, it has to be sort of, has to offer something that's visually quite arresting.
Yeah.
So if you limit yourself to a very sort of small, and it is quite a small palette, then you kind of limit how you're visually going to be able to approach all the different articles and the different sections in the magazine. Did you look at fonts or anything?
I just used a website that called the font that would, and I typed in grime to see what would come up.
Yeah.
So I chose the one that I thought would suit my magazine best.
Okay, so, and that would be a free font?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it was free on the website.
Okay, you have to check.
Okay.
Okay, because otherwise you might get done for using those sorts of
Yeah,
things. Also, if you're just using a single font, for what particular use?
I wanted to keep with the house style and use the same font throughout the whole magazine.
Just the single font?
I had 2 different fonts for.
Okay, can we have a look at the cover again, please?
Because the masthead was like was it like a street sign?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I thought was
Was
really
one-
nice.
yeah,
I like that.
yeah.
I think that was a very memorable
Yes.
approach.
So-
I
Yeah.
liked it.
For the street sign, I found out what font they actually use for street signs.
Yep.
So I
Brilliant.
used that font, and then this font is from that website that I mentioned.
Okay, right. So what about the body copy?
So that's the same font as this one.
The same font, okay. What I would recommend, don't have to do this, it's just a recommendation, a bit of feedback, is that you choose a palette of fonts.
Okay.
You choose complementary fonts that you can then access and use in different areas to suggest different things. It's quite difficult to use that title font that you've got there. It's, I can't read that, obviously I can't read
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
body copy, but I'm assuming it is in sentence case rather than uppercase,
Yeah.
because all the titles are all in uppercase, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you've got a sentence case thing, you've just got to be very careful that you're not just overloading with a single thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, because otherwise it becomes very difficult to sort of engage with, and it feels a bit stodgy. It doesn't feel like it's open, and it doesn't feel like it's offering anything different. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I definitely look at using. I mean, you only maybe even need to think about, right, this is our title font, this is our body copy font. That's all I'm going to use, because economy, when you're picking different elements to use, is actually quite a useful tool. Okay,
Yeah.
so you've got to think about these things. Don't throw everything at it and just kind of hope, okay, well, I've got everything that I can possibly sweep into this. Well, I'm just going to use 15 different fonts.
Okay,
Just
yeah.
be very careful and think about the usage. Yeah?
Yeah.
You might have different sections of the magazines, I guess, like your reviews or your charts.
Yeah.
You might want to think about something slightly different, but that is still similar or, yeah.
Okay.
Did you, I mean, I know the brief was to produce a front cover and a double page spread, but you talked quite a lot about it being an online offering. So are you going to create something that
Yeah, I will.
gives us
I
a
would
homepage
create.
maybe?
Yeah, I would create a website homepage.
Yep.
Where it would have the teasers of the articles, and
Okay.
it would have a link.
Okay, if you want to, I mean, I don't know, I'm maybe talking out of turn here, but it'll be useful to think about how the website's going to be viewed. So if you're going to create a website, make it responsive, which means that it grows and shrinks when it, when you put it on a different platform.
Yeah.
Okay, so the majority of people, their phones, make sure it kind of works on this as well as it does
Yeah.
on the desktop. Yeah, that's kind of it's probably very obvious to you, but
Yeah.
just something to think about.
Okay. Thank you.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Excellent.
all good.
Well
Very
done,
good.
Ryan.
Good question.